A real slick thing.
Opponents of efforts to turn Dallas ISD into a home rule charter district are getting organized. A former state legislator, educator, Harriet Earhart, leading the group called No Home Rule Takeover.
For this group to mount a takeover of the schools in the 9th largest city in America, it is the height of arrogance.
Of the home rule effort, Dallas Mayor Mike Rawlings, he is with us this morning. Appreciate that. They keep using the word takeover. Is that what this is, as you view it? And you have two interesting roles. You're the mayor. You're also a citizen and a taxpayer.
Yeah, I am, and this is democracy at its best, really. I love what we're doing, because the biggest issue Dallas faces in the next 10 to 20 years is this economic gap between the children of the haves and the children of the have-nots. And the problem with these children of the have-nots is they're not getting prepared for their jobs, not getting college ready. We've got a lot of great schools in DISD, but 160,000 students have to be educated, and less than 1 out of 10 that enter 9th grade are ready for college. That's 9 out of 10 coming down the road, and we've got to face this fact.
Would you say that DISD is failing, and if so, based on what measure?
Yeah, I think, first of all, I think we've got a great plan. What's great about this is everybody likes Mike Miles now and supporting him, and that's what I did last year. So I think his reform movement is working and taking place. But if you look over the last decade, 4% of African Americans entering 9th grade was not ready for college or
4% were ready for college.
Excuse me,
right.
4% were, and the rest weren't. And that, to me, is a very, very scary proposition. And so we've got to get these reform movements. And what all these folks are doing is saying, let's stop, take a deep breath. What's the best way to run our school system?
Well, you're saying this is a grassroots movement. This is a bottom-up movement, and the perception out there in the community is this is a top-down movement, that this is something by the business community to, and keep hearing the word over and over again, take over the DISD. If Mike Miles is terrific and everybody seems to all of a sudden love him, and what a change that is in a year, why not let him do the job? He says he can do it without this.
You know, I think what his plan is a great plan. But remember what happened 9 months ago? He came this close to being fired because the same people that are calling it a takeover were saying he's asking too much of our children. You know, we've got good principals. Why is he letting some of those principals go? And that tension, we just need to, if we love our kids, we should ask the question, be intellectually honest at every level, from the teachers to the citizens, the board of trustees, the superintendent. Is this the best we have?
We asked some viewers for some questions. Miguel Garcia asked, why is Dallas city government butting in on DISD? He says it reeks of corruption is the term he uses.
Yeah, well, I think that sort of inflammatory comment, take over, you guys love it, and it makes good TV. It's just not true. And this is democracy working. To get this done, we've got to have more people to sign a petition than show up at the school board elections. Mm-hmm. I mean, people get elected with 1,000 votes.
Right.
And we have to get 26,000, or those guys have to get 26,000 votes, petitions.
Is it we have to get 26,000, or is it
I think
they have to get 26,000?
The whole city's got to do this. You know, we've got to have 25% show up at election day for some. We don't even know what's going to be on it. It's a very complicated issue, and that's one of the big issues.
The mechanics of it, it's never been done before. The mechanics of it are 26,000 signatures. The school board has to appoint a commission. The commission writes a charter. The charter then goes to the voters. Is there somewhere, to your knowledge, a draft charter that maybe has already been written?
Oh, the support of public schools, talk about visibility. They came out very clearly what they're in support of.
It was pretty vague.
No, it was not vague. It was accountability for the DISD Board of Trustees.
That's a pretty broad term.
No, it wasn't. A report has to be written every 2 years. If you're not at or above the state level, there's a recall. They want to go for a longer year. I mean, this is very specific stuff that people are asking for. And so the boogeymen that everybody's worried about, we're turning the lights on. There's nothing under the bed. It's just democracy, talking about how we make our schools better. And our Board of Trustees are doing a good job on many things. In May, they're going to be voting for a teacher evaluation program that is, I think, going to pass. But I'll tell you, some of the people that were against this have been against that too. So we've got to keep pushing and just asking the citizens what they want in a school system.
When you were even running for mayor, you were talking about education. And so it is not something that has just suddenly worked its way to the top of your agenda. But as you look at other major urban school districts, New York, the mayor appoints someone to run the schools. Chicago,
Boston,
the mayor appoints someone to run the schools. Boston. Is that a good idea? And if they presented that to you, would you say, I'm willing to do that?
You know, those cities showed tremendous improvement when they made their reform movements. That's not what I'm supporting. I'm supporting single-member districts, making sure that everybody gets to be at the election booth, but I want accountability by the school board. That's where I'm focused on. You and I can get fired. They can't if they don't do their job.
When do we finally see something happen here? When does somebody come forward and say, got 26,000, let's put this to a vote? And second part of that, what if the school board doesn't want to go along?
I think that's a really important point. I mean, the school board can do whatever they want to do, okay? And, you know, we've got a lot of good school board members.
They can sandbag this effort by appointing people who are not reform-minded.
Of course they can. You know, so all we can do as citizens is raise our hand and say, let's examine all this stuff. If enough of them do it, then we continue this conversation. You've never had me on talking about schools before. You've never been talking about this. Finally, this community is doing this because this is the critical issue we face in Dallas for the next decade.
Absolutely. No doubt
Thank
about
you.
it. Thanks for coming in.
Thank you.
We appreciate it.